Welcome, listeners, to this week's Saddle Up segment. I feel so blessed. Tuesday was probably one of my favorite podcast episodes, and I didn't expect it. I had Robin Kencel on, and she is amazing. There's so many things that I loved about her, and I would, this is just a quick little summary. I would go back and listen because she's got great insight. She's a great communicator, and you can see she's a great listener. She wasn't here to just like blob out a speech. She was here to listen, and we had a conversation, and we talked about amazing things. And this is what we talked about: aging well, like feeling joy, dancing through life. And she's 67 years old. She's gorgeous. She's fit. She's joyful and vibrant. And I always am looking for, like, whether I'm at the gym or wherever, looking for people to aspire to, outside my mom, and my parents and how they're aging. But it's so good to see someone doing so well and to learn from her. And she was realistic. And so I just want to pick out one topic that we talked about, and she talked about joy. And she talked about it because she happened to hear me say something about joy, which is so important to me. So I've got like 4 simple tips or tools or steps to bring you a little bit more joy, to help you feel more joyful, more vibrant in your life. And it's interesting. This is something that stuck with me. You know how we learn these lessons and sometimes they whoosh out of our mind? So she talked about joy comes from meaning and purpose. And I thought through, like, I just did a little ebook and I got all nervous about it. And I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? I need to get this done. And I was feeling overwhelmed. And then I stopped and I breathed and I prayed. And because of this episode, I thought about, why am I doing this? Simple. I just want to help women when they go through something hard to have some tools to help them. And so that's why I was doing it. And with that attitude, it brought me more joy. It took the focus off of all the other things, but just that I just want to help women. That's the bottom line. I want to help them feel better. I want to give them tools. And so once I switched that, it became more joyful. Just a little mini mindset shift, which is number 2, is that joy is a choice. I'm always talking about your mindset. And it's not like a giant leap, but I can give you an example, which is kind of weird because I, kind of can go up and down. I do really well when I don't eat past dinner, bottom line, and I don't have gluten. So then there was a little time here recently where I was like, oh, this is fun. Snacking. I'm watching The Chosen with my husband. I'm making popcorn and it tastes so good and it's so fun. However, and when I was eating a little sourdough bread too, right? Which is so good, but maybe not every day. So I'm doing that. And suddenly I'm maybe 4 pounds heavier. And then I noticed I'm not sleeping as well because you know how if you're digesting food when you go to bed, you're probably not sleeping as well. So what's your fun? Where's your joy? Sometimes it's going to be joyful to have a special night and watch a movie and have popcorn with my husband. But overall, I feel much more joyful when the weight falls off, which it did as soon as I stopped snacking at night. And I feel good. I feel good the next day because I've slept well. Pick your joy. Make the decision, and you don't have to take huge leaps. We find that when we do just small little steps, it makes all the difference. I remember my coach once told me she doesn't really love to exercise, and she started out by day 1, she walked down and stood in front of her treadmill. Day 2, she went down, she got on, turned it on, walked a few minutes, and she kept building. It works. It works, friends, and it is helping me. So let's grow that joy. So here's the third thing. Joy grows when we stop judging. judging ourselves and judging others. And there are some people who are real natural at that, and I am not. And I hate to admit it. And it's because I'm that people pleaser, which truly is kind of selfish because I'm always like trying to be perfect and judging, what's that person thinking of me, and then judging myself based on that, which hurts. But then you also judge other people. I'm taking baby steps. So what I'm doing right now is becoming aware of it and then deciding in that moment I don't want to judge and changing lanes in my old brain that's wired. So I'm working on being nicer to myself, and I'll forget once in a while, and I got to be reminded, and then also being loving and kind to others. So that's 3. And okay, so 4. What can we do about this? What can we do to feel more joy? And here's the funny thing. I'm writing a long book. I've got my little ebook done, and a whole big chunk of that is about surrender and how my life changed when I surrendered. And this is why I need to keep going to like coaching calls, because I forget. I forget how to surrender, and I find myself right back in here after learning that great lesson, white knuckling it again. And I was on this coaching call with other women, and the coach was talking about let go of your oars and just drift downstream when you're feeling overwhelmed. So think about this. If you can think about something that's kind of gnawing at you right now, um, think about that. And then what's a thought that's really just going to help you feel one little step better? Here's mine. I don't have to figure this out right now. I don't know, dears. I will jump in and think, I got to get this figured out right now. I don't. I can fight it and paddle, or I can drift and take my time and enjoy the ride. And I'm still going to get to the same place, right? One way is going to be more enjoyable. And you can argue whether white knuckling it and paddling is going to get you there faster, because you might start going the wrong direction sometimes. So if you just kind of flow with it, and when I think that thought, I don't have to figure this out right now, I immediately get a small shift, feel a little peace, which is pushing me toward that joy, it's just such an important thing for me. And so that's the one little piece that I picked up. But I'm telling you, listeners, there's so much more. Go back and listen. She's amazing. She's a competitive athlete. I don't think I said that at the beginning. She's like a ballroom dancer at 67. She's Miss Connecticut or Ms. Connecticut. And she's just a great conversationalist and has a wealth of knowledge that helped me. And I hope that, and I pray that it helps you. Okay. So thank you so much for being here. And I just come back next Tuesday. We've got another great guest on. And I just want to recap this by saying joy comes from meaning and purpose, having that meaning and purpose in your life. Joy is a choice. Joy grows when the judging stops. And 4, what can you do? A little step. What little step can you do to bring you just a little bit of peace? Thanks so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you here again.